I know that you've been asked quite a lot about your involvement in series in general, because you're just part of so many iconic shows. But I was curious, on a more technical level, what do you consider the highlights and even the challenges of revisiting a character throughout a series, going away and then coming back for a second show, second series. So what would you say are the highlights and challenges of tackling a project that way?
Yeah, I guess I did it before on Mad Men. Well, but I mean, this one is sort of has different goals than Mad Men had. So it's more focused, particularly in the second season, on being kind of like nakedly entertaining and focusing on sort of adventure. Yeah, you're trying to just make sure the dots get connected. Specifically the challenges on this one is you've basically got two versions of a character who aren't corporeal. You're trying to come up with a rationale that differentiates between the two. So you have different rules for both, since they're both, for want of a better word, AI constructs. So and so you're just trying to have in your own head that there's different rules for each character.
Yeah, I was going to ask about how aware you are when you're playing them, that you're playing two different, you mentioned versions, but also them having different consciousnesses. Are you aware of that when you're playing that, or would that make it very much cerebral and you want to keep it, I don't know?
One of them has had a much harder ride than the other one. Have you seen all 10?
I've not seen all 10 yet.
Okay. Well, so one of the versions of the character has had a much harder ride than the other one. And he's been sort of put through a hell, if you like. And the other one, of course, isn't aware of the journey that the other version has taken. So he's in a more sort of secure place and more confident place. And he's less aware because he's had to be dormant and then, he's woken up as each crisis arrives. So he's not as aware as the other one is.
And I know that you've read the books. I believe you mentioned that. So you're aware of the trajectory where it will go, but what are still surprises in the scripts that you received?
Well, I mean, in the books, Harry disappears after the second short story.
Okay.
In fact, all the characters do. There are no characters that go the whole way through. So, I mean, that was one of the challenges they had for a long time in trying to put this thing on the air, was because they want you to associate with characters and follow their journey through multiple seasons. And you don't have that opportunity if the characters disappear after each book, and it jumps forward 400 or 500 years each time. Yeah, so that was obviously, you chat to David about that, because that was specifically his challenge and what he came up with being able to come with these different ways of keeping these different characters alive through the seasons. Yeah. And, as far as the books are concerned, they do a great job of sort of picking ideas from the books and using them in each season. So, yeah, you gotta take your hats off them, because it's pretty difficult. I don't know if you've read the books. Have you read the books?
No, unfortunately not yet.
They're sort of like dialectics. They're really philosophical musings on the nature of society in the future. There's a lot of, conversations go on for 20 pages, 20, 30 pages. And there's not a lot of event, action that occurs. And quite often it's referred to off screen.
Okay, great. I'll be sure to check them out. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me.
You're welcome. Bless you.
Thank you.